Right. Looks like we are good to go. Let's go ahead and get right into it. 2 minutes. Wow. Starting the stream early too. 2 minutes early. This is unheard of. Let's take a look. So we have move. Yeah, moved up yesterday. Micro float, also pretty low float. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff moving this morning. 3 stocks up over 50% to start. Clearly, we're in hot territory. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully people show up because I wasn't here yesterday. But we'll see how many people come in here. Seven o'clock. It's time to get started. Good morning, Emir. Good morning, Skivon. So this one just kind of popped up on no news. Yeah, right at 4 o'clock, this just popped up on no news and immediately sold it off. Good morning from Australia. Well, good morning, mate. Australia, huh? It's got to be like, what? I mean, I don't know time zones there, but I would assume it's like evening where you're at, something like that. But yeah, we got a lot of stocks that are pumping hard. Right? 3 stocks over 50%, so that's very impressive. Like, one of them's over 100. So we definitely have momentum going into today. Now, I don't know what it looked like yesterday because I just didn't look at the markets at all yesterday. So going in a little bit blind. No context for how yesterday performed. RAYA. Good to see me on the grind. It's good to be back. I needed a break. After yesterday, I was not really in the best spirits. I didn't think it was a good idea for me to be trading. Okay, so this one's definitely in play. Okay, unfortunately, the float is a bit higher on this one. And this one's just kind of slowly creeping down. FDA approves compassionate use. That's a weird way to say it. They approve compassionate use, not just use or conservative or aggressive. Compassionate use. Okay. For the treatment of neuropathic corneal pain. Yeah, so this one just kind of popped 50 cents and then gave it back. My main issue with this one is just that the float's a bit higher. What did it pop up to? Like 290, almost 3. Yeah. RAYA. Popping up very hard here. Does have news at the top of the hour. Arayak Power Solution Group reports surge in demand for portable quiet generators amid U.S. East Coast winter storms. Okay. I mean, that is a solid catalyst on its own. This is a pretty horrific daily chart, though. Yeah, definitely looks like some kind of pump and dump related stock, or just a stock that just generally just has huge dilution. With that said, this one is a micro float, and it has decent news, so this one could end up doing something. Looking at the daily chart, 350 looks like a critical support area. We're well above that. Honestly, it may have actually hesitated here for a moment before this breakout. Yeah, next is around 416, 420. We're right there right now. Beyond that, really, you're looking at 450, and then after 450, you're just looking at the half dollars. So 340s could be a potential buy spot. Yeah, this volume is super, super high, unless the stock has been diluted recently. I'm gonna check, see if this stock had a shelf registration or not. Well, they got a shelf registration. Well, that was from last year, though. They do have prospectus that they put out in September. But nothing recent. Nothing within the last 4 or 5 months. Yeah, this stock, it had a pump, and it did roll over, though. Okay, so this recent pump and dump isn't great to see. We'll see how this compares to the one from yesterday. If this just rolls over immediately, or if this one actually holds up better. What was the news yesterday? So this did have... No, this... Okay, so this had no news. No news yesterday resulted in this. We actually have news this time. And we're holding up around this area a second time. Now, this ended up going down to, yeah, 330s. Yeah. 340, 330 seemed like support on the daily. It respected it here, ranging in this area. If this fails, that could be a buy point. Otherwise, I'm really curious how this breaks out. If we break above this thing could run to 5. Yeah, RAYA definitely is the stock of the moment. Yeah, this thing just kind of squeezed up pretty quick. Very, very high volume as well. Yeah, I'm probably looking somewhere between 320 and 340 for an entry. Yeah. Okay, push down. Now it's holding around here. We'll see if we get a bounce or not. Nice bounce. Yeah, now I would do the lower end of this range because we already had one bounce. Yeah, 340 is too aggressive now. This was lower volume on the push down. I don't fully trust it because we already had a resolution bounce. But I will say that this doesn't look terrible for a buy point. I'm going to avoid it because, again, it already got the bounce. Realistically, if I bought on the upper end, 340, yeah, I would have been 13 cents off of an entry there. A little bit close, but not quite there. Seem to have some kind of pressure here around the 360s, 365 area to 355. Seems like some kind of selling pressure is coming in here. Yeah, now I'm looking at like, maybe like 315. That was a pretty weak breakdown. Seems like it's struggling at 30 though. Yeah, I think there's a hidden seller. It was struggling here and it was struggling here as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut it there. So yeah, my read is that there was some kind of hidden seller here at this area. When I bought for this break back up, the volume was really good. I liked the volume profile, but it still seems like there was a hidden seller here. Just a reminder for those that are unaware, I did increase size. We are looking at 3/4 size now. So the size is going to be a bit higher. Okay, so I could have ended up having a green trade from this, but considering I was like 15 cents from the bottom, it was correct for me to sell on this pop. Still, 420 all the way down to 3. That's a pretty nasty drop. Did I call in yesterday? What do you mean by that? Move also starting to come down a little bit. This is bouncing surprisingly better than I expected. Very weird too. So the volume on this push down was low, but the pop was even lower volume. Very strange. I didn't find you yesterday. No, I did not stream yesterday. I was emotionally a little bit out of it. Yeah, I was investigating someone, and yeah, didn't really like what I found. So I was a little bit out of it. I did make a post about it, but I guess just some people don't see my posts or the Discord message. Because I did make a post and I did leave a message on Discord about me not being on. I understand not everybody would see that. Yeah, this volume profile was so strange to me. So this sell-off volume is way lower than the push-up. And now this pop back up is lower than this push-down volume. So very, very interesting price action. This would have been a situation where if I got greedy and didn't take the small loss, I would have gotten rewarded. But I still think it was the correct call. My read was a hidden seller, and because of that, I didn't get the bottom. And because of that, my risk reward was unpreferable. And typically in that situation, I try to cut it at the first bounce. We got a bounce. I cut it for a small loss. That's textbook for what I try to do. And even though I would have made money, that's just how it goes sometimes. I didn't actually confirm I had the right 530. Okay, just want to make sure it matched what it's showing here. Hello, yes sir. Welcome, welcome. It seems like the other stocks have kind of slowed down their movement a little bit. Got caught on that pullback reversal. Yeah, on, what was it? Was it Raya? Yeah, I was trying to buy this pullback, and it just went down more than I thought it would. I read that my read was a hidden seller on this push down, and I ended up having to jump out here. Small loss, but yeah, and then it goes back without me, but it is what it is, you know? Honestly, even a $5 loss, that's recoverable easily within one trade. DRT, CT. It's always nasty when you have stuff where it's looking like it's gonna break out and then it just suddenly flips on you. Got level 2 on another screen? Yeah. You're not supposed to show the level 2. So I do have it, but it is on another screen. Well, it's on my main screen. I'm just not showing that part of the screen. I mean, we'll see how DRCT plays out. This one's, I I mean, the daily on this one kind of sucks. So I have a little less confidence in it holding for a bounce. I mean, this thing's way up at like $5. So realistically, you'd be looking for like 330s for the first real support. I guess you could also look, since it's that high, you could also look at 450 for support. 450, 440. If this level breaks at 520. Why not regulation? There's some sort of disclosure you have to sign. I don't know if it's the same in other places in the world, but at least in the US, we have to sign something that says that we will not redistribute level 2 data with any less than a 15-minute delay. There is some kind of regulation around it. It's not super well enforced, especially for a small creator like me. I could probably stream it and get away with it. But if I know I'm not supposed to do it, I'd rather just not do it, you know? Heaven forbid I do it until I get bigger, and then they come after me. And they come after me sometime in the future, and they're like, hey, why did you do this for like a year? Just streaming the level 2 data. Get fined from it or something. But yeah, I don't know about other parts of the world. Maybe in other places it's not. I've seen people streaming the level 2 data on some other streams, but I just don't want to take a risk with it. If you actually, like, if you go back on some of my older streams, you can actually see I did used to stream the level 2 data. Yeah, so this is really holding here. Curious if it's going to break, because we kind of went straight to it. So yeah, we'll see how this ends up playing out. This volume was pretty light on this break. Yeah. I mean, you could also look at like 484. Yeah, there is some support here, actually, on the daily. Small red for you right now. Got an early on DRCT right now after I pull out. It goes without me. You and me too, brother. Like, I'm right there with you. RAYA. I sold, what did I sell at? I sold at 20. So this is where I sold, right where my mouse is. And then it does this entire recovery without me. Yeah. I'm right there with you, Hash. So DRCT went to 5, and it looks like it's potentially bouncing from here. So this breakdown was a significant break, but the volume wasn't too high. This signal's bullish to me. RAYA, very impressive recovery, and the volume's returned as well. Right. This is super high volume, but we also know now that this thing can make pretty drastic moves on low volume, so we need to keep that in mind. So if I trade this again, I need to be more conservative with the entry. Let me refresh myself with the support levels. Yeah. 325 to 335 would be ideal. Yeah, right around this area. But this might actually just go. I'm still bullish on this move. Considering it moved yesterday and did this on no news, and now we actually have news today, and it's matching this, I feel, I mean, what does the volume profile look like? I'll compare them. So it looks like the volume is higher for this than it is on this move. Like, to me, this really just looks like this thing's gonna rip. Good morning, Market Taker. Good morning, AJ. Good morning, Duvin. Hope you're all doing well. If you guys are coming into the stream, if you could drop a like, I would appreciate it. Help get this out to other people so they can watch me lose money too. Pretty big inflow here. This broke through this. 300,000 is pretty high. I mean, this is a sub-million share float. This is very, very high volume. And then it just consolidates here. The RCT did end up breaking below 5. It looks like it's kind of just slowly laddering down. I don't know. DRCT still looks bullish to me. It hasn't broken down very quickly. The volume's been light on the breakdown. That one might not be dead. Still very strange that on this break, a big flush of volume came in. Yeah, I'm still bullish on this. I think that this whole price action, the way this sold off on lower volume and it did a very big sell-off into a very big correction on low volume, this is very strange price action. Yeah, I suspect this is going to make a big move, up or down. It's kind of weird that when we broke this, we saw a sudden hard rejection. But on the flip side, it has recovered it, right? It's clearly shaking people out. Yeah, this is a very big resistance area. Very nice recovery there. What's that? 67 up to 4. See a 33-cent bounce. It's a huge bounce. And the volume's about the same as these candles too. The 5-minute chart is showing uptrending candles. We're having higher lows for all of them. SOPA with news. Gotcha. I'll go ahead and take a look at that. 60,000. 7 million shares. It's not super high. Yeah, this volume is a little low. This is pulling back now. This could be because of the half hour and SOPA drawing attention. Yeah, I see the DRCT is moving. Yeah. Rhea breaking down more. But again, we're having this low volume. I'm not going to jump in as quickly this time because this showed last time this could flush more on low volume. So I'm going to be more patient with it. Okay, down to 50. Not going to buy here. Really looking for 30s. Good morning, Avter. Good morning. Okay, bounced right off of the 50 level. Went up 10 cents. So you had potential for maybe a 13-cent bounce here, if you timed it perfectly. SOPA continuing to pull away. So this one also had a spike, interestingly, yesterday that sold off. And it did have news on it yesterday, too. This company is putting out news back to back now. Now, when this one sold off, it sold off really hard, right? We're talking like maybe 2/3 to 75%. This time we're holding up. Well, to be fair, this was immediately all in one candle. Today, we're seeing it kind of do it in four different candles instead of one. Rhea still pushing here at around 50. Looks like a bearish wedge, potentially, having lower lows for all these candles. SOPA continuing to pull back harder here. It's given back about half the move. Yeah, I'm looking for low 320s. If we get it. $38 might have been the bottom. Fair enough. It was conditioned to be a little bit more conservative after this big drawdown on this pretty low volume. Okay, SOPA pushing basically back to the highs. 61 to 85. DRCT kind of ranging at the moment. It looked like it might have been breaking out, but not quite breaking out at the moment. Well, as I say that, maybe it's breaking out, maybe. Yep, now it's breaking out. Yeah, new high here. The volume isn't exceptional relative to this. Actually, it looks a bit less than I would have liked. SOPA selling off again here. Oof, nasty rejection. 285 all the way down to 257. Realistically, 253. Yeah, nasty rejection here. And on super high volume. Yeah, I can't buy that. This volume's too high. It would have to come basically down to like 36 or something. I don't think it's doing that. Yeah, DRCT continuing to pull away a little. Potential topping tail. We'll see how this ends up closing. But we had a small wick, a bigger wick, and now this is a much bigger wick. We'll see if this continues and we get a pullback. Kind of reminds me yesterday with SXTP. Both had recent reverse splits. I can take a look at that. I wasn't here yesterday, so I am unaware of that move. Oh, wow. SXTP really moved. $2 all the way to 8. Wow. 400% move. Yeah, we're definitely in the midst of a hot market right now. A lot of these stocks are just really going crazy with the percentage gains. RAYA did do a nice bounce and has rolled over. It has been on lower volume. The RTX still kind of churning here. More than I would have expected, given the float. I'm surprised it's having this high a volume and not moving more. Soba continuing to die. I probably don't even buy that one for bounce. Doesn't look super clean. BGL popped up on high volume and then just kind of popped back down to here. Not a great rejection. Volume's kind of high. Could be a nice bounce from here, though. This was clearly a range area, so it makes sense it would attempt to bounce here. Though I am worried that this might just be too much, and this just could be a very brief bounce. See how much volume comes through on this candle, and if it pushes it. Also, RAYA continuing to like pressure this downward area. Right, we broke through and still kind of messing in that range. Still super low volume though. But the volume dropped off a bit slower than it did on this initial flush. Yeah, I'm watching BGL. Yeah, have it on a side chart. Yeah, BGL pushing back up to highs. It's pretty close. Volume is... This was a volume spike similar to this, but the total volume hasn't quite matched it. At least so far. Float does seem a bit higher too, 31 millions. A little bit up there. Seems like the volume is actually increasing here, right? We've been stepping up in volume. And actually, even looking at the lower highs, it looks like this has been clearly laddered down. The fact that you've seen volume increasing as the price is getting lower too could suggest someone is trying to distribute this whole way down. Very nice breakout on BGL. Continuing to see the volume increase. Interactive broker won't let you trade Rhea. I've heard of people say, a couple people saying they've had issues with interactive brokers. I thought it was just Thinkorswim, but maybe it's also interactive brokers. Also, I heard that they now have a thing with Thinkorswim, so you can actually call in to enable yourself to trade risky stocks. I've seen a lot of people talking about that, so it's cool that they at least let you do it, but I wish they could just have a button you click instead. It just seems like such a pain to have to call up and ask. Lately, there has been way more stocks you can't trade. Let's see. Yeah, because I've noticed lately people have been saying it. Yeah, last 6 months. Yeah, I've noticed that. Like, it's the same thing with Thinkorswim, really. Thinkorswim actually started restricting a little over a year ago. People just didn't actually notice it. You didn't call today a pop-up, in my case. I had something pop up too. I think that's just the annual thing they have you sign. I don't think that's for the, specifically for the risky stocks. I know that I read through it, and I know they mentioned the riskier stocks, but I don't think they were focusing very heavily on that. That was more like a general disclosure. BGL pulling back pretty heavily here. It's pulled back like 50 cents now. Hmm. Yeah, DRCT, it's still grinding higher, right? We've been making higher highs and higher lows on it. It's just been a little bit slower. Not as flashy. Still pretty high volume on this selling. Ray is still pushing at these lows, even after this attempted bounce. Yeah, this looks very much like distribution up till this point. And this is where it bounced last time, but I don't know how much I trust it. It looks like it kind of attempted a bounce here based off of the support. And it didn't really get great resolution. We're coming up on the top of the hour here. Curious if any new stocks will come into play. Yeah, DRCT had a nice breakout, but again, it like had a pretty big flush, 50 cents on it. So it's very whiplashy. It's very whiplashy, but then it just goes sideways, right? You just have a breakdown, then it churns for a little. Or here, like it churns for a little bit, has another leg, churns for a little bit, leg, churn. It's not really just moving consistently. It's doing a bunch of spurts and then going sideways. AUST looks like it's moving. Now, just looking at the last few days, this stock has moved each day the last few days, and they've all been pump and dumps. And this also has no news for a third day in a row. Interesting the price action on this too. It just kept grinding higher before this spurt. This feels very manipulated. All right, we got 1 minute till the top of the hour. See if we get anything that comes into play. Still staying pretty patient. Only one trade, and it was a small loser. So, being pretty patient today. Good morning, just subbed. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, stock trading practitioner. I appreciate it. All right, now let's see if this thing dumps for the third time. The third day in a row. Let's see how big the dump is. Rhea still pushing at 3. I think it's going below 3. All right, I mean, even on the 5-minute, you can see that the volume, while it's low, it hasn't been 0. Higher price stock, keep an eye on move. Yeah, I saw it. It is on my watch. ATLN. I'll take a look. Does have news. Fair enough. Pretty big pop too. Popped almost $1.60. Creates $1.2 billion workforce solutions platform. Yeah, it's a nice headline. Bit higher float though. 58 million. It's a much higher float. Still watching RAYA here. It's pushing at 3. I'm really watching ATLN for around 440s if we get a sudden drop down. Ended up going to around 460. Now you're getting more. Up to 450. Volume's still pretty high. It seems like these pushes down are a bit hard. Yeah. Volume's a bit high still. Did try to buy right here. Didn't get a fill on it. That would have been a nice hit too. Yeah, drop from 550 all the way down to 420. Yeah, so we had like $1.60 rise, $1.20 drop. Very, very whiplashy. And I did attempt one order here, and just a little bit too low. See how the 1 minute high works out here, if that gets any resolution, or if we just see another sudden flush of red. Really pressuring this level. I'm surprised KUST is doing as well as it is, considering the way it's moved the last few days. Looked very manipulated to me. RAYA did end up breaking below 3. It dropped another 16 cents. Yeah, KUST just really doing well here. I'm impressed with it. This volume's dropped off quite a lot on ATLN. The RCT had a bit of a pullback. Looks like another 80-cent drop on that one. Yeah, KUST looks like it has about a 50-cent pullback. So we're seeing lots of range in both directions. Yeah, KUST pushing highs again. Very impressive. It's ranging like 50 cents a minute. It's very big range. TVA. This one pumped, but there's no news behind it. Not having any news kind of makes this dubious. This is only on 15,000. Suppose it could just be oversold on the daily. Yeah, it's still crazy that Cust went this hard. I really thought, considering there was no news and it did these pump and dumps the last 2 days, I was like, okay, this is clearly just going to pump and dump for a third time. But no, it actually did a very crazy move. With no news. Hmm. DRCT, 30-cent drop. 480 seems reasonable. High 480s. Yeah, this basically went straight from like 545, just 5 minutes of bleeding, straight to 5. Yeah, I had an order out there at 488. Just looking at the daily support. Looked like it was around that level. Ended up getting a low of 95. ETLN is continuing to range quite a bit. The spread was pretty thin, but it's gotten thicker. Why no live stream yesterday? There was some emotional things I was going through. So I ended up skipping out on yesterday. I did leave a message in the Discord and I made a post on YouTube saying I wasn't going to be live, but I guess not everybody saw it. Hope everyone's having a profitable morning. Well, I guess I'm not. I'm currently in the deep red. Okay, breakthrough 4. Let's see how big this breakdown gets. And now this is starting to see some momentum. Keep getting caught in the chop. Yeah. I mean, the range on this is pretty huge, right? We're seeing huge moves up, but we're also seeing these big pulls back down. So yeah, there's quite a lot of range here. You got to be real careful because these can be pretty nasty. I've already seen a couple nasty flushes earlier today. By the way, don't mean to sound pessimistic or angry, but I had an order to buy here 372 and it went to 375 before bouncing. So I missed the entry by 3 cents. Maybe I should make a thing where I can like view the canceled orders so I can just show you guys how close I got to some of these fills. Because I put out, I mean, I've only taken one trade, but I've put out like maybe 10 orders and I think like 3 or 4 of them got really close. That one was the closest one by far, right? Like a 70-cent move and I'm 3 cents from the entry. So that do be how it goes. KUST might be on the backside. Also red so far for the day. Keep getting caught. Yeah. I'm gonna pull a poll. I'm just curious how people are doing. See how people are doing. Really? Neck and neck. The thing is, too, simply saying, are you green or red on days like this isn't really giving enough credit, because the real question is how green or how red are you, right? Because with these moves being as big as they are, these are the days where you're going to have bigger swings in your account, potentially. The news on Cuss seems neutral at best. There's news on Cuss? I mean, unless you're talking about the news from yesterday. Now, Cuss was really strange, though, because it moved the day before the news came out and just did a pump and dump. Then the day that the news came out, it pump and dumps. And then this morning, there was no new news on it. And then it pumps. And it's very, very strange. Now, I expected this to just pump and dump immediately. I didn't expect it to actually run as much as it did. I mean, it's turning into a bigger pump and dump, I guess. Right? This is starting to look like a pump and dump. I'm a bit disappointed that some of these orders I placed didn't get filled. Can I... Hold on. Yeah, so like, take a look at this. So here's my canceled orders. You can't see the... I don't have the fill price that I had for them. But you can see I had 6 different orders that I had placed out trying to get fills. So it's not like I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs not trying to trade. So I'm just not getting the fills. Manipulation. Woo. I mean, it does seem suspicious. This price action is suspicious. Now, if this thing rolls the whole way over and goes all the way back, like the fact that it did this weird movement this morning where you were having this movement on no volume, this is kind of weird too. So I'm really curious to see how this ends up playing out. But like this thing ended up just going straight up, and it's like it's been coming straight down. Road DRCT pop up to be up 33 cents on the day. Going here feeling lucky. Hey man, 33 cents is better than me. At least you're green. Some days small wins. No, that's how it goes, man. But yeah, if you're calling it, that's fair. DGNX ready to pop. Wow. You say ready to pop, I mean, it's already popping. Ooh, 200 million shares, though. That's a big pass for me. That's way too much float for me. RVYL. Yeah, and like this one, it just like popped and it's just sold off all morning. Swag. Thanks, man. Swag. You're swag too, Dubin. Okay. No news. It's kind of grinding up here. I guess this is just a new stock. A bit of a higher float. Yeah, this has moved a lot, right? $1 to $2, that's, I mean, that's 100% move. If somebody's been accumulating this whole time. It has news? It's not showing up for me. You need some soft background music, my friend. I've considered it. I have considered some kind of background music. I mean, I can ask you guys. If I were to play it, it would probably just be for you. But I'll ask you guys, because it just could be worth something to mention. Tell me your guys' thoughts. Not loud. We do want no, it's I'm not just gonna be like blazing music, dude. It's no. I said slow background music, okay? You like jazz? Yeah. So this just popped up. Yeah, I still don't see news on this. I don't know what you mean by the news. Yeah, no, I was thinking about No Copyright Sound. They're a group that I listen to. They should be fine to use. But yeah, you bring up a good point. Zigsburg. Try cis. I'll make a note for cis. I listen to the Candyman song all day. Would rather you just clear speech audio. Yeah. So here's my thing, right? So like with Zendu, they have a silent stream and they have one with like little waves in it. And I found the waves to be really distracting. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sonny. So it seems like we're actually pretty split on the silence or try music. How does Ross Cameron get news so early? Is it networking experience, tools? Also, how do traders know which keywords, news keywords move stocks, or are algos or AI involved? I mean, it's a little bit of everything. Really, it's just about pattern recognition for the most part. So if a stock moves, like, it's not necessarily a keyword will move a stock. It is identifying that a stock moved, and then people will look at what the keywords were. So if a stock moves and it's about AI, people are going to notice that. So the next time a stock moves, if the news is AI related, then people might correlate the two. And it's always about people trying to find connections, to find the next theme. So it's not necessarily that it is a keyword itself that moves it. It's what were the features of the stock that moved, and can you find any connections with that, the features of that stock with another stock that's moving. STKH. Getting some pretty good volume here, but again, no news on this one. Did you start with 5K? Correct. Yes, I started with 5K in this account. Yeah. This is a 5K account. The account's currently up 52 bucks. Last 2 days, just not really getting too much. TLN dropping more. But we're having a bit more volume too. 1622. Yeah, realistically, since this pumped all of this, this could drop quite a bit. Realistically, probably like 330s, 320s would be ideal. We're like 30 cents away from that, though. I say that like it's super far, but I mean, this move down, this was an 80-cent move. So me saying, oh, 30 cents is so far, like, it's really not that far. But yeah, this has no news, so I'm not really that interested in it. It is a lower float, though. And it has pretty good volume, but no, but like it grinded up. Yeah, it grinded up to here before the volume came in. That's bearish. Which categories do you focus on when forecasting? Oh, this thing is like, this thing suddenly just drops. Solid bit here. I mean, if it's going to drop a lot, I might be interested. Let me take a look. You get like 20, 30s. Took a shot at it here. I'm watching the level 2 for right now. It's an order for 3,300. I thought 30s would be good here, but 10 cents off with it. Wow. What a spike and then drop back. This thing's ranging like crazy with this. Yeah, it seems like it's really just ranging now at this 220s area. All right, I cut the trade there. So my entry was at 235, and this seemed like it was a good entry considering how big of a pullback this was with such a low float. This just ended up, I mean, I'm not going to count this because this looks like just a random wick, but yeah, this went down way more than I expected. I guess from the hindsight of this moving up, maybe I could have looked at this as the real baseline, because I was really looking at this as my reference point. And I'm thinking, man, this thing like collapsed. In 4 minutes, it collapsed $1. Fair enough. Looking like we're likely ending red on the day. I'm actually going to rate this one lower, I think, because this one, I wanted 230s. I did get 230s because I got 235. But I think because I was looking more from here and I didn't realize that this creeped up on low volume, this would have been a better reference point in hindsight. Yeah. Super high volatility. Not going to force any other trade this morning. The RCT made 740. Good stuff, man. That's awesome. You lost 100 on it. Yeah. It's been whiplashy, right? Even if a stock's moving up, I'm sure there's going to be people that made a lot, people that lost a lot. That's just the reality. When you got bigger range like this, you're going to have people having bigger wins and losses. I still can't believe we went from 320 to technically a low of 190 in 5 minutes. Lost 50% of the value in 5 minutes. That's lunacy. Actually, this thing did it. Okay, hold on. I want to just look at this because I'm curious now. This did this here too. So it popped up and then just sold off super, super hard. And then slowly recovered throughout the day. Interesting. And it went to the same exact price too. Pop up, no news, light volume, huge flush. Interesting. What time was it? So 8:35. When did this one do it? Okay, this one did it way in the early morning. Got about 12 minutes left here before the top of the hour. Yeah, even in hindsight, my exit wasn't that bad. Did I talk about the guru yet? Might have missed it. I haven't given his name. I don't plan to. It's probably not a good idea for me to do that, considering that they're a pretty big person in terms of subscribers and just social presence. I was more so just talking about it from from just like a general standpoint. Kind of rolled over. Guess it didn't have any swag. But yeah, this weekend I might get a collection of non-copyright sound music. I have a batch, so I might get it together and try it out for a stream just to see how you guys like it. If you guys like it, we can try it out. If not, then we'll just not do it. But I think since it was a roughly 50-50 split, or no, it wasn't actually. As time went on, it looks like it's closer to maybe like, yeah, 2/3 split. Okay, all right, that's a little different. See you Monday, God willing. See you Monday as well, Sony. Sunny? Now, good stuff on your trade today. Yeah, ATLN just kind of grinding down here. Looks like someone might be laddering it too. Good morning, Flip Flop. Minus 23. I'm so sorry for your loss, dude. Anyway, you missed all the morning action. No trades. Big sad. Friday, the Vegas boys are very active. Yeah, I'll check out Tasty, or not Tasty, Candy Trades after this. Yeah, I probably won't be on too much longer. I'll be on until a little after 9 here. Oh, well, what are you doing, Sonny? Like, why aren't you showing us what are you up or are you down on the day? You can't just be like, oh, well, I made money on this trade. Making on DRCT, Captain. Yeah, DRCT was a pretty nice move today. Right? I mean, even now, even after it's pulled back, it's still up over 100%. You live in MN2. What is MN? Minnesota? I'm in Pennsylvania and it's not that cold here. I think it's in the 30s or something. 30s or 40s. Doesn't feel bad here. Can you show me your scanner? I have a couple. Technically, I have 4. Oh, no. It'd be accurate to say I have 3. Just a general gap scanner. Right, I got just like a general pre-market gap scanner here. And then I've got 2 other scanners. Both of them are showing nothing right now. One for just momentum. And one for a slower momentum. And both of those are blank right now. Yep, okay, yeah. Minnesota's pretty much Canada. You use Stock Rocks Zendu. I do use Zendu as well. Yeah, I use Zendu as kind of like a backup. Getting out while still green. Good luck, everyone. Yeah. I mean, that's smart. You have a good one, market taker. Glad you had a green day. Stockrocks is voice AI. I knew I liked you. I'm in the Pocono region, up by SW. SW. By the southwest. Bit confuzzled. Move cooking. I mean, it's at the upper end of the range. Oh, Scranton WB. Wykes Barra. I have no idea where that is. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. The move's still got quite a bit of range to it, right? I mean, it's a more expensive stock, so that's not surprising. You're in DRCT. Good luck. Yeah, it does look like it could break out. Right, you've kind of got this bull flag pattern emerging. You've broken out of this area, so there's a chance, right? Next clear test would be if you get to 580. What? The former president was from Scranton. Who? Like, what was his name? Sleepy Biden? Sleepy Joe? I think it was Sleepy Joe, yeah. I think that's what Trump called him. It was either Sleepy Joe or Sleepy Biden. I think it was Sleepy Joe. But yeah, we're about to hit the top of the hour here. Quick shout out, if there's anyone listening that isn't subscribed, I allegedly stream every day. I wasn't here yesterday, so I'm not even going to say I stream every day. But I stream most days. LRHC is moving, but it is a lower price stock, so I'm not really going to touch this one. Which categories do you focus on when forecasting moves or finding similar stocks? Use any specific research for this or have any suggestions how to approach it? I mean, there's general criteria I look for. It's, first of all, like the standard things you look for stocks that move, right? The lower float, somewhat cheaper price, but I like it to also be above $2. So somewhere in that range. Preferably it has news that is a discrepancy with the price. So like, for example, if the news is good and the pullback is too dramatic, to me that's bullish. All right, you've got a discrepancy there. Liked number 19. Yeah, just trying to find discrepancies that don't really make sense and seem like they would give you an edge, right? Like if news is really good, but price isn't performing well and the float's low, like that can be a good combination. Or if you see price flushing, but the volume's light, then it seems like it might be a potential overreaction. This one, like, it's been trending down, but the float's higher. So I'm not really sure how much I would trust a bounce here. Yeah, we'll give it a few minutes here, see if we get any stocks. If not, I'm gonna call it. Give it a couple minutes. How is ATLN doing in terms of the daily? Because this was a pretty big spike. 33 puts us about here. I mean, realistically, you need to get to like 314 to even be in daily support. I can see what kind of stock do you like, look like ST. I can see what kind of stock do you like, look like STKH. That grammar's a little dubious grammar there. Not really sure what you're asking with that. This momentum's picking up on still pretty low volume. I actually might get involved with this. This goes down a little more. Yeah, because this volume is pretty light. No, you're good, man. Just explain it in a different way so I understand what you're asking. SLE looks like it's moving. Oh, what the heck is with this price action, though? Just like goes flat and then just sells off. Says it's only 900. Oh, it was a reverse split, it looks like. Yeah, reverse split. For how much? Because this looks like it was going flat. 1 for 12. So you got a 27-cent spread. Pretty big spread. I think I see the category you like. Stocks like STKH, low float, low price, relatively high value. You mean volume. Hard to borrow. Is that the main profile you focus on? Yeah, those are all criteria I look for. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the only things I look for, but yes, those are all things I look for. Yep. So you had a break from 750 to 825 on 5,000 shares of volume. Not even 5,000. I mean, it's over it now, but on that initial break, it was less than. Okay, now we have a sudden surge of like 30,000. And it went straight to 11. What on earth? What the heck? I mean, if you breathe on this thing, it's going to move up or down. Security is not available for trading. All right. Well, guess I can't even trade SLE. There you go. Yeah, it seems like with Webull, if a stock has just had a reverse split, they don't let you trade it. So this is twice this has happened. This is a pretty nice bounce too. Gave like a 50-cent bounce. It is what it is. I think I'm pretty much done here. I don't really see anything else. SLE is certainly interesting, but if I can't trade it, there's no point even watching it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to call it here. 2 trades today, both losers. Down about 17 bucks. A little more than that, 17.83. So, not a huge loss, but sizable. I do have to keep in mind, too, that I did size up more today, right? I increased from 5% to 7.5% allocation. So, that $17 is a little bit inflated. It should be, if we're going by our old methodology, it should be closer to $11 or $12. So, in that context, it's not as bad. I'll go ahead and review the trades, decide if I want to size back up to full size or not. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end it here. If you liked what you saw, please do leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'm going to head out here. Have a good weekend, everybody.